Hey everyone, this is smpratte, and today we're going to talk about the saturation of modern English product. Remember about 8 months to a year ago when all the drama channels were outraged about these scalpage, flippage, Shining Fates ETBs were at like 80 something dollars. If I wasn't such a boomer, this is where I'd edit in what I said back then. Everyone just needs to calm down, relax, it'll be okay. We've been here before. I know it's tough for a lot of these new drama channels. They've only been here for a year or two, so they haven't been around long enough to experience these cycles play out over and over and over again. But 2017 is on repeat right now, and we are at a point where modern English product is on the verge of saturation. Before I sat down in this chair, Shining Fates ETBs are selling for $60 shipped on eBay. Chilling Reign ETBs between $50 to $60 shipped. If you don't like that, the booster box is $110. Remember big old diesel chunky vivid voltage Pikachu? That was flirting with like what, 200-ish, maybe 300 on the best day. Now it's back down to $110 to $120. What happened? What changed? Where's all the outrage? What's going on? I can buy cards now. It's great. I can go to the store and buy them. It feels good again. So we're going to talk about what changed, what's going on right now and the value of outrage as well. I really want to add a positive note to that, just always try to end with some realistic positivity. But what's changed right now, I think a lot of people know the obvious answer that people can go outside again. It's summertime. We can touch grass because of the vaccines and everything else out there that gives us a nice little protective barrier from the chaos that was 2020. We can go out and enjoy life again. That's a big part of it. So the demand has shifted. There's definitely people who were around who had to stay home a year ago that can go outside and enjoy life again. And though that means demand has decreased a bit. Also, supply for modern English has significantly increased. Now, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not a binary where it's like 0 to 10, where it's like supply now is 10 and before it was 0. It's just that it's increased a bit, and I think demand has shifted as well. So they have adjusted. But right now, as you can see with the prices, the market has changed. Not only that, distributors are reaching out to a lot of people, even the sperm and the sperm whales, to see if they want to make more orders, larger orders. To give you a good comparison, about a year ago, you would struggle to get the newest set within 12 hours of its like flash sale or its available purchase, pre-order, whatever it is. Like that chunky Pikachu was one and done. It was just up and gone. Or right now, I have time to scroll. I can put the kettle on. I can fully recline, go through my options. I can pick my poison. I have so many choices now to go through because supply is available. I literally right now can buy Vivid Voltage, Chilling Reign, you name it. I can go to my distributor and order it. So Pokemon is doing what they're doing in 2017. And for those who weren't around, we'll do a quick recap. We'll do a little bit of a deep dive into that to talk about some of the things that are happening now that happened back then. I think would be useful to know, when you're looking to buy this stuff, sell it, whoever you are, whether you're a buyer, business, flipper, scalper, whatever identity you are. In 2017, Evolutions created a massive uptick. CP6 is over here, was very exciting. This was the talk of the town. Just an exciting release. A lot of people were excited about it. Evolutions was the same thing. They couldn't even fulfill pre-orders at the time, which was unprecedented. But what happened is that demand increase for Evolutions carried over into sets that weren't as exciting. And then the tipping point was Crimson Invasion. Crimson Invasion literally put some people out of business. It was so bad. I remember certain tournaments like regionals, they were trying to dump Crimson Invasion boxes for $40. That's also a record. In like 1 year, you had record with Evolutions high, record low with Crimson Invasion. I don't think, knock on wood, hopefully we never see another booster box at $40. That's something you don't want to have. That's like half of what you can get it at, at cost. So you had people taking a bath of Crimson Invasion. And the point is English distributors kept making that order from Pokemon at the same rate of Evolutions. And obviously the demand didn't sustain. Crimson Invasion just isn't as exciting. And that's what you can expect with the current era. That was Sun and Moon. And for the current era we're in now, the least exciting set is usually the canary in the coal mine. The set with the least amount of fundamentals is typically the first one that's going to be the red flag for like, okay, product saturated. I don't want to name any names in the current era because I feel like modern's just knocking it out of the park right now. But the least exciting in that group is typically the first one to go. It's the one to show you, hey, there might be too much supply. And again, you can already look at the prices within 1 year. Some of these have halved. Shining Fates, that was the one that a lot of people, the dramatic YouTubers, were saying people are leaving the hobby because they're also having to pay like $100 or something like that, for one box. Now you're almost at half that. Vivid Voltage, you're more than half that, so that's a huge price difference in 1 year. It's a big price swing. And again, I think it's because what has changed. You had that swing of momentum where a lot of people were forced inside, and then now people can go back outside. That's a big swing, and it makes sense why you're seeing that shift reflected in the price. But one thing I want to talk about 2017 that we can learn from, and Pokemon themselves can learn from, is that you want to balance at the end of the day. You don't want to have this pendulum going all the time where it's like heavy supply, heavy demand, back and forth. You don't want to constantly pick petals. You want to have a nice balance. That's the answer. Saturation is the death of hobbies. It's a death of interest. That's a better way to look at it. Anything that's saturated and easy, you don't want it. When there's no challenge, there's no point. It comes easy. You don't think about like walking every day. For the people who could do remedial things, you don't think about that every day. You don't think about every breath you take and things like that, things that come easy, for most people. You don't think about that. What you do think about are the challenges, the hard things you have to overcome. The same applies for collectibles. You do not want to have a Crimson Invasion every round. You do not want to have what we're flirting with right now and what we went through in 2017. Nobody was excited about Modern in 2017. Nobody. You had the mega threads going on E4 every round all the way to Evolutions, and after that, they just disappeared because nobody was really excited about collecting Modern, where today, a lot of people are excited. I think Modern has great fundamentals. The introduction of the alternate full arts is an absolute home run. It's basically what everyone wanted for a long time. It really satisfies the series collectors. Hand-drawn art, really rare. It's a great balance, in my opinion. On top of that, you have a great mix of art from common cards all the way to the rarest. It's just a good balance right now. So you don't want to spoil that by just dumping a ton of product that really lowers the price, i.e. the interest and demand. You got to keep a balance there. Look at something like Beanie Babies. You don't want to have a Beanie Baby scenario where you had that artificial supply that just kept getting pumped and pumped and pumped. Everyone, their dog had the same Beanie Baby. Everyone had the Princess Diana bear. Everyone had whatever thing it was supposed to be rare. Everybody had it back then. It was an artificial supply. You don't want to have that. You want to have a balance at the end of the day. If we go back to our good old CP6, right now this is retailing at what, like $2,000? That's where it's at. And what's Evolutions doing? Evolutions had its moment, but it took 4 years for Evolutions to finally lift off. It's like that kid who stays in their grandma's basement until they're like 30 years old and then finally decides to move out. That's what Evolutions did. It took a minute for Evolutions to do anything. But CP6 was consistently on the rise from the beginning because it had a healthy balance. It didn't just shoot up to 2,000. It gradually increased over time. It's been very affordable for years, for a long time. And then recently, you've had more of an uptick because now it's 5 years old, much more limited than it was 5 years ago. But the point being is this release had better fundamentals because it had that balance. That's what you want to see. That's what you want for every collectible. You don't want to have the extreme where it's Scalper City and Team Rocket is like following the distributor and the person dropping the packs and boxes off of the stores. You don't want to have that crazy situation, and you don't want to have the opposite end either, where the pendulum swings to too much, supply. You got to have a healthy balance in there. It's like when you're trying to lose weight. You don't want to just eat nothing. You need to find a nice, happy medium. So that's what I hope Pokemon does. It took a while for that to happen back in 2017. Again, we were in the mud for a minute in 2017. Anyone who was around back then remembers Sun and Moon was a chore. Like, you had to really find something to be excited about. Not because the sets were that terrible. Like, there were some solid full arts and some decent sets. And Ultra Prism, I think, was a good attempt on adjusting in the short term. But overall, there was just too much product. Again, saturation is the death of demand. It's the death of interest. And then last but not least, I want to close on a positive. I talked about the Outrage earlier and mentioned, as you know, I don't like dipping my toes into the drama stuff. It's a 0 positive, 100% negative. There's nothing to gain from it. But one thing I wanted to get out there is the idea of how outrage is temporary. That's a temporary state of mind. It's not a permanent existence. Moreover, outrage does not have any correlation with, any type of market situation. As mad as you can be, like, go Super Saiyan 3, 4, like, whatever, Super Saiyan God, whatever they're doing now in Dragon Ball Super, whatever it is. Hit your final form of rage. It's not going to fix what's going on in the market. And that's what I wanted to close with here, is just to give people a little realistic positivity for someone who's experienced this cycle again and again and again. Not only 2017, but prior with like gold stars and so many other examples, little, micro moments and microcosms of the same thing over and over again, where this pendulum swings back and forth, the supply and demand. Outrage is temporary. Markets are always in flux. They're always moving. They're always moving. Yes, scalpers are a very easy common enemy that we can all point at, right? It's like Team Rocket's like that campy villain in anime, but you don't want Jesse and James buying out the store and like bothering you all the time. Like you want to have a nice balance there. And I just want to remind people, outrage is a temporary thing, and flippers, scalpers come and go, collectors never die. Don't dip into that drama. I know sometimes it's enticing, to see all that people talking about whatever thing's going on. Again, it's a zero gain scenario. It's a just completely avoid it, because it's not going to have any effect on what's going on. Again, you can rage, get all the veins bulging, and take all your creatine, protein, or whatever people are doing now. You could get it all there, like fully flexed out rage, and it's not going to change the market. The only thing that will is understanding those patterns and being patient with it. And again, if I wasn't such a boomer, I could edit in right now what I said then, or you can go edit the videos from 2017 in right now, when we were talking about the same thing that was going on, but just different products. So just wanted to close with that idea to remind everybody that, getting frustrated won't change anything. You got to always try to focus on the positive, even when it's tough. The pendulum's now going the other way. And the new struggle is going to be, it used to be, you couldn't get products. Scalpers are frustrating, right? Everyone agrees that that's tough. But now the new struggle is going to be maintaining that excitement when things are more saturated, because that's what it was in 2017. The good moves to make back then, for all the big brain stonker investors out there, you had to stay the course and buy the boring PSA 9 WOTC hollows. It was very, very boring. You had to motivate yourself. So that's going to be the new struggle. If the pendulum fully swings into a saturation situation for modern English, that's going to be the new struggle that you're going to have to deal with. But again, just stay the course. You always got to find some enjoyment. You always got to continue to adapt and adjust things to maintain that mental health balance with your hobby. And, collectibles to me are just a nice escape from like all the woes of like 2020 and what's going on. So I always try to get that out there and get that message out there that, even though these moments can suck, for lack of a better term, like with the scalpers, there's always something you got to combat, whether it's that or like, saturation. There's always a perspective that will help you out there. So hopefully this video did that for you. So that's what I've got in the current saturation situation. I'll keep you posted. And I always talk about this in Patreon, like immediately, and I can disclose more there because it's privately and, get into the details. But there you go. That's what I have, guys. You know the deal. Let me know how you feel. And that's pretty much it. Till next time.